Well, good afternoon, everyone. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from beautiful and sunny Beaufort, Georgia. As a matter of fact, it is beautiful and sunny deep inside of me because when I'm looking out of the window, it is gray and kind of a rainy weather. But it doesn't matter what happens outside, it's always beautiful and sunny inside. And I just want to welcome all of you to an episode of Transformational Mentoring with me. But, I am calling this segment, and this is just one of many to come in the future that I call Conversations with Influencers. Conversations with influencers, because I'm not going to be doing this today all by myself. I have a great friend and even a John Maxwell team colleague. And I'm going to be sharing with you the story of how I met DeAnna Keith. I mean, she is an outstanding individual. She has a very important and a powerful story to share. And she has been able not only to influence many, many people, but she was able to influence herself. And her story is one that it impacted me. It helped me to grow even further. And I know that is going to resonate with all of you. But enough of me talking right now. Let me bring DeAnna here. And hello, how are you? I mean, you are absolutely fantastic. And how is your day been so far?
Alejandro, it's more wonderful now that I'm talking to you. It's wonderful here in Kansas City, Missouri.
That's right, in Kansas City. I mean, can you believe that? It's really amazing. And just let me just take a few moments. I mean, to relate and to share with the people who are watching us live or who are going to pick up the recording at a later time. How all of you know that I got certified as a John Maxwell team speaker, coach, and trainer back in March of 2016. And then I went back because, I mean, the John Maxwell certification happens twice a year, in March and then in August of the same year. So after I got certified, I went a couple of more times. And on one of those occasions, I was just, this event takes place at the Marriott Resource in Orlando, Florida. Is the biggest Marriott hotel in the world. And at every John Maxwell, the IMC, we call it, is the International Maxwell Certification. At each of those events, there are not hundreds of people, there are thousands of people. And you can really get lost in there. And even if you wanted to meet every single person, it is just impractical. It's just it's not possible to do it because there is not enough minutes in the day, to be able, to meet and connect with every single person. But I remember, I think it was one morning that I was going to one of the sessions, and I saw this lady. I can't remember. Perhaps she remembers, but I can't remember what she was doing. She was standing there. I don't know where she was, on the phone, or I don't know. But then my eyes caught on her, and I said, just the person that I am. I am not hiding in a corner when I am with other people. I just want to connect. I want to establish relationships. Building relationships. And so I came to her and I began engaging her in conversation. And from that moment, it was that connectivity and that connection that and several times during that event, I mean, we connected and we talked, and then we remained and we stayed connected through the power of social media.
Right.
And that's why I said, when I began doing these Facebook Lives, I went through the list of people that I wanted to do this, what I'm doing right now. I mean, have a good conversation with, and knowing where they are on their journey, and for them to share their stories, okay? Because remember that every single person has a story, whether you believe that you have one or not. Let me help you on that. You do have a story. And so that connection with DeAnna was great, and I cannot be more happy that today finally arrived, and that we have this opportunity to talk and to share great information with you. So having shared how I met her, then DeAnna has a powerful story. And the one thing that I'm going to share with you is that, and what she shared with me was that as a young girl, I mean, from the time that she was 3 until she was 15 years of age, and I didn't make a mistake, is from 3 till she was 15, she was abused by someone kind of close to her, okay? But it was that, and afterwards, that she was not conquered by that. She was not, she fell, but she didn't stay in the ground. I mean, she, in her own words, what she said to me says, Alejandro, I am an overcomer. You see, she overcame real difficulties in her life. And one of the things that she said to me is, in any person's journey, when you come to obstacles, before you can see with clarity, black and white, and even the other colors of the rainbow, you first have to go through an area that she describes as explaining the gray. And when she told me about that, I says, DeAnna, you have to share with our audience and anyone who is going to watch this Facebook Live, explain to us, what do you really mean by explaining the gray? So I think that I talk a lot. Now is your turn, DeAnna, to really share with us, because this is a very powerful story. So you got, I am all ears listening to you.
All right. First of all, thank you, Alejandro. I am truly humbled and honored to have you as my friend and a fellow John Maxwell team member and a brother. I just very much appreciate this opportunity. So thank you. Let me say this. Alejandro is very vibrant. He is very tenacious, and he is very warm and welcoming. So when I first met him, I was not afraid of him at all. And that might seem a little strange, but when you hear my story, I'll explain it to you. I came from a very large family. And as Alejandro explained to you, I was abused, but I don't want to talk about that part. I want to talk about the clarity part that I explained to him that got my life back. There's so many things about the gray. And as he explained it, the colors of the rainbow, when you put them all together, whether you melt crayons or take a tapestry of paint and you put them all together, it comes out muddled and gray. You have to pull out the colors within the gray to see, oh, this part was good. This part was very harmful, but how can I get perspective on it so that I don't live in that piece of the gray, that color of the gray? And I think that was the best way I could explain it to him for my life. Yeah, I've been through some very, very hard times, but I had to sort out that foggy area. Like when you step off your front porch and all you see is gray and fog and you don't see the sun just yet, and you keep walking and you don't know that you're going to stub your toe on something or see something in the way or see someone or an animal or something that comforts you in the middle of that gray fog. You have to investigate what's in there to be able to pull out the goodness. And I think that may be describing what I described to you, Alejandro.
So basically, explaining the gray is having the courage, because I mean, you have to have. I mean, I think explaining the gray is not something for wimps. I mean, you have to have the courage and the determination to say, this is an area that is kind of foggy. I don't see clearly. It's a kind of a is jumping a little bit into the pool of the unknown.
Yes.
But you have to be determined to do it in order to be able to maneuver your way through that gray area. And as you keep advancing through that, everything is becoming a little bit more clearer and more in focus. So that gray becomes two distinct areas, a black and a white. Is that right?
Yes, but it also becomes color, because the colors of the rainbow, black and white, you can separate good versus evil or that sort of thing. But then the color is what you have the opportunity to influence yourself to become. I have chosen to become a light to those who have gone through abuse and help them. I have chosen not to live in the gray. I have chosen to make my life valuable and worth something in the midst of that mess. And I think I think that's the best way I know how to describe it. I loved when you said you have to have courage. Courage. I had to have the courage to admit to myself that I was an abuse survivor. I had to have the courage to tell my parents and my family, and I had to have the courage to accept that maybe some of them wouldn't understand or be angry or whatever the case was that was gray. I chose that part of courage, that I couldn't live in the gray anymore. I had to add color to my life and my being.
Now, one of the things that you said, DeAnna, was I decided to become a light to other people. Now, do you think that in order for someone to say with that conviction that you said it, I decided to become a light to others, and to perhaps just by being that light, point to others a road to navigate. To go. Do you think that anybody who becomes a light first had to go through deep darkness?
I do. I think there's levels of darkness that we go through. I think everyone has a story. And I think that while my story is significant to me, it may not be significant to another. But I respect the gray that they had to walk through to get their color, to get their life back. Does that make sense?
Sure. Now,
I'm only an expert on my own life.
Well, let me tell you one thing, DeAnna. I mean, we both know that yes, I mean, and even some people, they don't even have control over their own lives. I mean, so you have. I think that your story shows that we can we can move to a higher level of awareness in our lives. I mean, and I always say, if you that are who are watching, you never heard of who Paul Martinelli is. Paul Martinelli was the president of the John Maxwell team. He was the creator of the John Maxwell team, and put together an organization that now, I mean, has over 30,000 coaches or even more throughout the world in 160, 170 countries. I mean, it's the largest speaking, coaching, and training organization in the world. So this fellow, Paul Martinelli, if you hear some of his teaching, he is so emphatic about becoming aware. I mean, if you're not becoming aware of yourself, your life, the world that surrounds you, other people, then you're going to be living all of your life pretty much in your own little bubble and cocoon. And once you get out of that and you begin to elevate your awareness, it's like what happened to you, that you begin to be a light to the world, the light to other people, for other people to see and follow you and be impacted by your experience.
Correct. And it's funny that you mentioned Paul Martinelli. It is, I believe it's because of the mindset piece and relearning how to rethink and your thoughts and sorting those out, the gray, and then removing the darkness that doesn't serve you. That is what transformed me. I am indebted to that man for starting the John Maxwell team and John Maxwell, because they truly changed my life. And that's how I ended up next to you, standing in the lobby, going to the John Maxwell IMC. I believe that everyone has to process their own process of going through their gray. You can't rush them. You just have to love them through it. But once they decide to share their story, and you may not like it or understand it, I believe the only job we're called to do is support and love them through it. Yeah. And that's what I found my life has been able to do for others. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share my story and how God, my grand overall designer, has used me in the midst of all of it.
Sure. Now, let me ask you. I mean, and you said it just now, and you said it to me. I mean, in a previous conversation, that going to the International Maxwell Certification event and then becoming a certified speaker, coach, and trainer has indeed, I mean, has opened for you a series of doors of opportunity, and you have made the most of those opportunities. As a matter of fact, and we are going to talk about it, but you started your own company. Is called the Influencer LLC, and you can share with us, I mean, what you do there. But if you had to pick, perhaps, I'm not going to put you in the spot, I mean, for a lot, but just two lessons that you personally learned through the John Maxwell experience. I mean, through becoming a speaker, coach, and trainer. What would those two lessons be for you?
I think the first lesson for me, and I don't know, this is going to sound very cliche, but because of what I had been through and experienced in my life, for me, it gave me hope to live and my life means something. That I have my experience and the wisdom that I carry within me, walking through that is valuable. That's what I learned. And I'm not afraid now to share my wisdom and what I've been through to help others walk through their traumas, if you will.
So basically, I mean, one thing, as a colleague, as a John Maxwell team member, you definitely know, I mean, because you have that, we call it the JMT DNA. I mean, it's the John Maxwell team DNA, as we have DNA in our own blood. I mean, if you're part of the John Maxwell team family, then you have that JMT DNA running through your veins. But one of the things that because you heard John Maxwell speak and mention this many times, that we are literally, I think that we are here on earth to add value to as many people as we possibly can.
Correct.
I mean, we have to look at our own skills, our own abilities. Not everybody has the same skills, the same abilities, but whatever you can do, I think it's our obligation as spiritual beings to help and to add value to other people and to leave this world better, even if it's just a pinch better than when we found it, when we came here. So in your life, you found value in your life. I mean, do you think that finding value for you made it change your life paradigm? I mean, 180 degrees. I mean, you were going one way and then it changed you.
Yes. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. And then when I became part of the John Maxwell team and then listening to Paul Martinelli and being mentored by John Maxwell and Paul and the team, I realized it started having me pull out this piece of darkness. Oh, and then this piece of light came in, this life principle to live by, the law of awareness, the law of intentionality, the law of the rubber band. All of those things started to work for me. And I thought, oh, this stuff is real. And then I started changing my life, my mindset, and my heart and my spirit were all coming together for a purpose that had been missing. I don't know how else to explain that, but that is what it did for me. Sure. I put it to you this way. I have volunteered for 14 years as a self-defense instructor. I'm a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I was teaching self-defense, physical, because of my abuse. But now with the John Maxwell, I have been able to impart the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual into my teaching, and the entire school and the students and my head instructor, my master instructor would tell you it is a significant difference, not necessarily in who I am, but understanding in who I am and how to use my life. That's an example.
Sure. As a matter of fact, I mean, this was funny because, and I said to DeAnna, I mean, when we were talking before, that when I met her for the very first time at the IMC in Orlando, and I approached her, I did not know, I didn't have a clue about her past and her background and the fact that she went through this abusive relationship and so forth. And I didn't even know that she was a 3rd degree in martial arts. And so when I approached her, I said to her, unbeknown to me, my life was at risk. I mean, I was walking in that tightrope of life, between life and death, because if I had said something that perhaps would have offended her or done something, I mean, with just a very swift kick, I would have been out of commission. Completely out of commission.
Yeah, he didn't know I didn't like hugs.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But no, that's, I mean, that's incredible. So what is, so you started, so you developed that value-based living, and your mindset changed, and then you said, this is what I received. Now it's time to begin giving back to others. And that's how you started the influencer. How was the process of starting the influencer company? I mean, was that your own idea, or did you talk to somebody else, or how did that happen?
Alejandro, it came to me that while John Maxwell, my parents, people in my life were influential, this was significant for me. It hit me that only I can be the influencer of my life. I had to influence what my grand overall designer put within me to express and come out. Nobody can do it for me. That's why I got on that plane by myself and went into a IMC at John Maxwell. I didn't know a soul. You were the first person I met. I went by myself and told my story. And I had to do that. No one else could do it. So I thought, if I'm having to become the influencer of my life, I didn't discount the influential people or my God. Other people must struggle with this too. So there was birth the influencer, for us to become our own influencers.
That's excellent. And as part of the influencer, I mean, you, as a matter of fact, if you allow me to share this, that when I talked to you, what it was a few days ago, you said that you had just finished talking to a group of close to 400 plus women and sharing your story with them. How did that happen? How did you feel standing in the front of a room, sharing your story with other 400 women? I mean, what was going through your whole being?
Okay, well, first I was scared, and I might have wanted to have to go to the bathroom because I was scared. I was so scared. I'm scared now. But that's the honest truth of what I first felt. And then I thought, okay, I'm not trying to be significant. I already am significant. I'm not trying to be, like pretending to be alive. I am alive. I'm not trying to be an overcomer. I am an overcomer. And I got up there scared and shaking and shared my story to touch the lives of women, whether they've been through abuse or not. There's different kinds of trauma. So the message is the same. Get the help you need. The bravest thing you can do is ask for help and start influencing your life. It was wonderful.
Excellent. I tell you one thing. I mean, I don't made a mistake of calling this conversations with influencers, because you are such a vivid example of what an influencer is. I mean, and obviously, if you're familiar with the John Maxwell body of work, one of his books is called Becoming a Person of Influence. And oh my goodness. I'm not actually telling you. I mean, I'm just telling everyone. I mean, if you have not read that book, I mean, I encourage you to read it, because we all have the ability and the power to influence others. Is whether we have the determination to do it, and whether we can see the value in doing it. And like DeAnna found, and that was a tremendous change that a person can do in his or her life is realizing that no matter what your upbringing was, no matter whether you are wealthy or you are not, no matter in what condition you are, no matter what work. I mean, you can be a street sweeper, or you can be the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you find that you are a person of value, that you can add value to others. Because at the same time that the CEO of the multi-billion-dollar corporation is able to add value to others, the street sweeper can have a story that can add value to thousands upon thousands of people. So it's just finding the value in you. And not only that, but as John Maxwell says, look at other people as people of value. I mean, you cannot add value to others if you don't consider them that they are valuable individuals.
Correct.
And I think that what you have done is not only you have found value in your own life, but you consider that other people are people of value that can benefit from that. So it's incredible that we are all in one way or another, we are overcomers. And some people they had to overcome more than others. But I think that in our life journey, we need to be overcomers every day, because we're going to find sometimes detours in our life. We are going to find stop signs that would stop us, and we're going to find blockages in our way, whatever it may be. And we have to be able to be creative and never. And one of the things now, there's one more thing that I want to ask you. I mean, throughout your life, throughout the time of difficulties, did it ever cross your mind to give up and to quit and to abandon and to say, what the heck? I mean, my life is a mess. I'm just going to stay in bed. I will never get up again. I mean, did it ever cross your mind, or it was the fact that you were at the lowest and you said, well, the only way that I can look is up, and I'm going to start climbing up all the way? What was it for you?
For me, I wanted to give up in the sense of I felt I had no purpose and I didn't fit anywhere. And my life, what was the value of my life? I was questioning that. What were all these things I had gone through? Abuse, and then I'm a stroke survivor, which we had talked about. I suffered a stroke. Had a hard time conceiving, but then God blessed me with my son. And then I went through a time where I had to resign my job, and I'd had enough. I'd had enough of feeling kicked in the teeth. And I think because we're Latino heritage, if you will, European, that there's a fighter spirit in me. And I think that finally rose up. And I thought, okay, all right, God. I said to God, you put in my path somebody to help me. I need some help here. And then came a phone call from the John Maxwell team. Then came, a phone interview. Then came the opportunity to go. Then came, okay, is this real? Then came the opportunity to be part of the team. And I took it. I kept walking through the doors throughout my life to make me better, to make me wiser, more discerning of me, and validate the things that I went through have value. So the things that others go through have value. And it made me a better listener for other people. I think that, Alejandro, I understand people who've gone through trauma like this, that they want to give up and they have no purpose. I can tell you that I do understand that. For me, I was too afraid to give up on what life I had been given, and I knew there had to be more. I just didn't know how to get to it until I came upon the John Maxwell team.
Well, I tell you, just connecting with you and talking to you and really listening once again, I mean, to your story, a very powerful story of sheer determination to really get better. And I think that we need to be on that journey to become the very best versions of ourselves. And I said it many times, and I will never get tired of saying it again. As Les Brown says, there is greatness in you, and I know that I possibly know that there's a lot of greatness within you, DeAnna, and there's greatness within all of us. And I think that what we need to do sometimes is perhaps as coaching people, as sharing stories from the platform, facilitating trainings, is to help other people realize that they too have greatness within them. And it's just a matter of letting that greatness bubble up and show up in the world as the very best that we can possibly do it. And I think that you are doing that every single day, and you're getting better at it. And let me tell you one thing, that I think that we're coming to the end, but this was we could extend this for many more hours, but don't worry, we're not going to do that. Because there's content for more. But suffice it to say that it's been a real privilege. It's been a real delight for me, I mean, to have this conversation with truly a true influencer, not just a self-influencer, but an influencer of many others. Now, before I let you go, if you can share with all of us, I mean, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what are some of the means, I mean, or social media, website that you can share for people to find you?
I have my website, which is theinfluencerllc.com. They can reach me also on the John Maxwell team website. I have a website there. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So look for me under the Influencer LLC and send me a message. I'd be happy to help you walk through some things if you needed some assistance.
Excellent. Well, DeAnna, it's been great talking and sharing with you. I remember one time John Maxwell said, I think that he was asked the question, I mean, is there a difference between success and significance? And he said, once you taste significance, success will never taste the same.
Correct.
And I tell you one thing, I mean, it's my privilege, I mean, to be and to be your friend, because if I hang out with people of significance, we know that they're successful, but people of significance, that significance is going to rub off on me, I mean, that's and that is the case. So I truly thank you so very much, I mean, for this time and making it available and to share your story with many others. Thank you very much. And before I go, I just want to, as I normally do after every broadcast, I want to remind you to live every moment, be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate, be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.